everyone. Welcome to Moonlight Astrology. You're live with Denise Killick, yours truly. I have a couple of very special guests on my show tonight. We're going to be discussing relationship astrology, synastry. We might even get into synastry with Gavin Rossdale and Gwen Stefani, something I've been really fascinated with. I have Joni Ross here. She's an experienced astrologer. She's going to do some readings for us here. She's even going to do some readings for all of you viewers out there. So if somebody can comment, we can hopefully get to it later. So why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Well, I've been an astrologer, tarot reader, intuitive. Now I'm making these pendulums and teaching people how to use their intuition for dialogue within their own life. And I guess in New York, I started my practice in the very early 90s, and I love my work because I learned so much about people, and astrology is really helpful because it's really outside the box of the way you usually think.
Mm-hmm.
And astrology is a symbolic language, so we don't define everyone, we just learn about them, and it's a way to study life, and I'm a student of life.
Absolutely.
As you are.
Yeah, we all are
All
here.
these Aquarians.
Yeah,
It's
we have
very
a lot
exciting.
of Aquarius energy in here.
Mhm.
Yours truly, we got Annie, Julia. We got all these Aquariuses in the house, but Joni herself's a Scorpio.
With
If
the
an-
moon in Aquarius.
With the moon in Aquarius. If any
I'm a
Aquariuses
big
out
lover
there
of
wanna holler at us and say, "Hey, Aquarius watching," that'd be awesome. Any Scorpios out there? So, in your experience, what have you encountered with relationships and astrology? Have you saved relationships? Have people come to you when they're stuck?
Well, there's certain things in the chart that really describe what makes you feel loved
Mm-hmm.
and how you like to express your passion.
Mm-hmm.
And attraction is very important in relationships, but really that's just how you hook up. That's how you begin it. There's things in the chart, with the angles where you really want to see, is there endurance?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times relationships are not for your whole life. And people get very frustrated. Why
Absolutely.
isn't this feeling 100% right? Because you have a connection, but it isn't necessarily about fixing a round hole in a square. So I think going to an astrologer is helpful, but if you really love so much about someone and you understand the nature of what isn't really working, you can kind of give them a break, and that's helpful.
Yeah, you get to understand the other person that you're with.
Yeah.
There's a reason for a lot of things. If you pull up a chart, you can really see the psychology of another person, the psychology of your significant other, and you can get a little closer to them in a sense.
Yes.
And what do you think about when people say, "Hey, I'm a Scorpio. Do I go with a Cancer?" Do you do the sun signs only, or do you have to look at the charts?
Well, I think initially when you're in the same element, you're comfortable. Sometimes you're comfortable if it's the same modality, but no, I think the moon, Venus, Mercury, Mars, if you don't have a Mercury that's relating to the other person's chart, how do you have dialogue?
Right.
If your moons are really challenged to be around each other, how do you really feel at home together? So there's lots that goes into what relationships about. There's always some complexity, but that's life. So I think the important thing when you want to have a good relationship is to start with the understanding of yourself and what are you willing to do, and also be honest. Do I really like him that much? Is this just because I want to be with someone, or I
It
think
relates to Annie here.
Yeah,
because
I mean-
we're going to be doing a reading on her about relationships soon, so she can relate to all of this.
Am I not
we all
lucky or
can.
what?
And I think when you have a reading, if you go to India, they're going to fix you up with your daughter up with this young man. They let the astrologer give the
They
yes
do.
or the no.
They do, yeah.
I would never do that. But I think it is, there's just sometimes you can see you're with this person to work out a lot of stuff.
Yes, a lot
Yeah.
of relationships are karmic, and you can also see that astrologically. Each planet represents something. The sun is who you are. It's your ego. It's your appearance. The moon is your feelings, your emotions. Then there's Mercury, the way you communicate. Venus, the way you love, how you like to be loved. And Mars is more physical. It's a sexual attraction. It could be, depending on if it's a male or female's chart. So there's a lot to it. And it's not just your sun sign. And I tell a lot of people, I'm on this journey myself. I'm on a healing journey to really understand who I am as a person, to really love myself unconditionally. And a lot of people out there really do have a hard time with that. When you really sit down, like, do I really love myself unconditionally? It's tough. And I think astrology can guide you towards that, to really love yourself, to put yourself first. And once you can do that, I promise you the right person will come into your life that'll emulate what you want, or the love that you give yourself, they're going to be able to give you. But that's the journey. It takes time, and there's no need to rush. Everybody's like, oh, I'm 30, I need to get married. I mean,
Well, 30 is one of those times.
It is.
29, 28, 30,
Yeah.
Saturn return. But I wanted to just add something that you're already saying.
Mhm.
I think that people's journey to find astrology is about, very often, self-acceptance.
Yeah.
And even if you don't think it's about that, you find out that your horoscope is unique to you, and that it's okay to be who you are, and that your ascendant is like the little portal out to everything else, how people are receiving you, how you're seeing the world, and that it's very important to have a relationship with yourself if you want to really relate to someone else. And like you said, love yourself unconditionally. I have the moon square Saturn, so I
That's
always have a
difficult, I'm
little
sorry.
condition,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's helped me
Yeah.
learn a lot.
Yeah.
And some people don't. They just want to love with their whole heart, physically, everything, and then they find someone who's a little bit, don't touch me, I'm annoying.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a hard thing to
It
do
is,
when
it-
you have
it
one
is.
person that's so
Yeah.
physical, some person who's
Who's
just
not.
vision.
And astrology can help you see that. You can see how the person can receive love, depending on the chart. I mean, if I know our viewers probably want to know, like, for example, if someone's an Aquarius, who do they get along with? But it's more element based, right? Like you were saying, so an air sign is more likely to go with another air and a fire sign.
Well, yeah, but sometimes you can
You never know.
you can be an air sign, and most of your chart is an earth.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be as theoretical as the other
Yeah.
Aquarians. You really want to have what's going on, what are we doing? You want to be exact about what's going to happen. And then some people find that just it's not exciting enough for them. So you really want to look at the whole chart, and also especially your ascendant and your moon sign.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So I know in charts sometimes, oh no, it's okay. It happens to my laptop too. It goes to sleep. But I know that, is it true that you want to find some, like, for example, there's your ascendant and descendant. So the ascendant is how you come across to people, how you interact with other people, and how they interact with you based on that sign. So for example, I'm a Sagittarius ascendant, so I might come across like a Sagittarius. You're, I think, Gemini, right? Is that is Annie Gemini ascendant? Yes, that's her. Yeah, she's a Gemini ascendant.
Yes.
So
So very friendly,
Very
very
friendly.
curious person.
yeah.
Like you say, people like you, you like people.
Yes.
That's Gemini rising.
Yeah, and do you
And
match?
gadgets.
Oh,
Makes you really get the
technology.
new phone.
Yeah.
the new- yeah.
That's me.
You, my brother's Gemini rising, and he actually watched the video for his car, and I thought, what? But he did it, and we're opposites. I'm
Oh,
Sag rising. He's
yeah.
Gemini rising.
That's what I wondered about that. Do you go better with someone's sign that's on your descendant, so the opposite? So let's just say, Sag, right?
Yeah, I think that we're working on developing our persona or our modus operandus through our ascendant, and the descendant is what part of what we want to be, but we want to see it vicariously through the person we're with. And if you have a lot of planets in your 7th house or an important angular, planet there, you really do look at the descendant.
Yeah.
But sometimes relationships are not about marriage. They can be anything. So there's other things that indicate, 5th house is your romance. So
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot.
Eighth house is your, private life.
Yeah.
So
Sex life. Yeah. Yeah.
so
Absolutely.
even that is interesting. It's like not everyone wants to have what everyone else has. And that's another thing astrology can really help you feel supported, because if you have all your planets on near your ascendant on that side of the chart, this lifetime is about you developing
Yeah.
this person that you are.
Yeah.
And if everything's in the marriage house, then of course your relationships
Partnerships.
can be
Partnerships.
partnerships.
Yeah.
If you feel like you when you're in a partnership.
Interesting.
Hmm.
So let's start with. So if anybody again wants to have maybe their chart read, if they want to do something relationship based, if they can just give your date of birth, the year, the location, and time if you have it. It'll be more accurate if you have your time. And then if you have your partner, your significant other's information, you can just post it. We'll do a comparison together, probably towards the end of the show. But I think that would be a lot of fun if anybody wants to have a reading with Joni.
Also, is this okay if someone doesn't have a relationship
Mm-hmm.
and they're wondering, why do I keep picking the same wrong guy in different hair
Yes.
colors?
Yes.
We can
Yes,
look at
Joni,
we
tell
can
them
look
thank
at your
you.
Venus, because Venus is what makes you feel loved. Because even if someone is attracted to you because you have beautiful legs and you get your hair done, you have the Venus in Aquarius, you want to be loved for your intelligence. You want to be loved because
Yes.
you make sense.
I have
And
Venus in Aquarius.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you
I know.
understand exactly
Yeah.
what I'm saying. It's not, oh, you're so beautiful. That's boring already. Why does he keep saying that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what matters to him. So we want to find someone that we feel loved by, meaning they relate to what makes us.
Is that what you have? Venus in Aquarius?
No. I have Venus in Scorpio.
Oh.
So I can't talk on G-rated station.
I love it.
About my love life. No, I think Venus in Scorpio, would be an intense person. Very difficult to just let go and find someone else. When you bond, you really bond.
You do?
Yeah, Venus in Aquarius, you don't like to break up, but there's always an interesting person to talk to and a new friend to
Yes,
make.
yes. There is always a
And-
new friend to make. Look.
And Venus and Gemini,
Always.
they can just love so many people.
Yeah.
And Venus and Pisces, let's triple that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of love in Venus, and it comes in many forms.
Wonderful.
But we all, especially ladies, we need to, and men too, but we need to just own our Venus a little bit more, I think.
So, Annie, hi.
Hi.
So, Annie, tell us, what do you do? What are your hobbies? Tell us about yourself. A very eligible
I stay at
bachelor could be
home
watching.
mostly.
No, an eligible bachelor might be watching.
Might.
So, tell us.
Well, I'm originally from New York.
We went to high school together.
Yes, me and Denise went to high school together,
Mm-hmm.
and lo and behold, how many years?
We meet back in Florida when we were in
12
New York.
years later.
Yeah. 12 is the number here. 12 years later. Yeah.
Yes.
A Jupiter cycle.
So I moved here after high school and kind of, went to college, settled in, started working for a law firm, been there ever since, and, spare time, beach, it's Florida. You have to.
Yeah.
Like to go out a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
hang out with some friends. Movies are a plus, but I like to stay home too.
Mm-hmm.
Homebody.
Yes. Yes. Great. So I know that you just went through a hard time with a relationship. There was a breakup. So you want to know, why is this happening at this stage of your life?
Right.
Like, what can you expect
Right.
moving forward? So we do have your chart up here. I don't know. I don't think our audience can see it here. We have like a huge one here. Looks really good, but we have your chart up. So if you want to go ahead and delve right into Annie's chart. Again, if anybody wants to know about theirs too, give us your birth information. Joni's here. She has her software. She can pull it up and do it.
Well, one thing I would say, a very, very romantic encounter is with your guy. He's very mature. He really appreciates, this romantic notion of like getting IRAs together. Meaning the idea of merging, buying a home with someone, isn't that a kind of an exciting
Yes.
thing in your mind? Because your Venus is conjunct Neptune. You're very romantic, but in the sign of Capricorn, it has to do with commitment.
Correct.
So interesting that you want to meet the right guy and you want to have a life with him, but try to understand that you have to go through the real attraction and he's got to be the right one before you make that commitment to him.
Right.
Because once you make the commitment, you're capable
stuck.
of going, no, you're just such a loving person. You can stay in that romantic notion. Plus your Venus is in the house of Scorpio. So it is hard to just say next.
Yeah.
It's very hard for you to
Yeah.
do that. So what I would suggest is give yourself all the space you need to attract the person that is really connected to you. Because you do need someone with, I know it's a little cliche to say a soulmate, but you need to feel that he feels you without having to say it.
Right, which makes a lot of sense that you're saying it, because that's exactly how I feel half the time.
One suggestion I have,
Sure.
find your falling in love song.
Aw.
Play that song to yourself.
Aw.
That time goes so quickly anyway. Life is like a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
What you need is the spiritual confidence that he's out there, he's going to find you,
Mhm.
and that you're open and you're not afraid, and you keep giving yourself the love that you're going to have from him too. But you give it to yourself in the meantime, because he's not there yet. And then also, let me ask you this: jealousy sometimes?
Sometimes, not
Okay, not a lot.
Mostly
Yeah, I would
not.
say when you're really attracted,
Correct.
that's when it hits you really.
Correct.
Monster. So
Big
you know,
monster.
you really,
Huge
that's the
monster.
other criteria is that you need someone who's a grown up and not looking to play
Right.
around and take advantage of your trusting nature.
Right.
Because when you really lied to you, it isn't fun for him either.
Oh God, no.
Either.
Venus in the house of Scorpio. No, not fun.
Not for
And you know, there's a bit of a dichotomy because your Mars is in the sign of Aries, which means you really like these fast boys that'll tell you anything
Yeah.
because they actually just want to have some fun. And that's kind of amusing to you in a way. You feel they're entitled or something. You get it. So have a lot of fun. But in your own inner work, in your
Yeah.
own spiritual work, understand that when you're in a relationship with someone, there's a lot of things that happen in life and you go through it together. And you need to really make sure this is a person that will be walking a path you want to walk.
Yeah.
Right? Does
Yeah.
that make sense to
A
you?
lot.
Yeah.
And also, you have the moon in Taurus, so he should have a good job. Meaning you don't want a poor schnook that's going to, you know, just take advantage of your money.
Right.
That you make
Right.
it the law
We've-
firm. No. Yeah, he's got to be substantial.
That makes sense.
And
Yeah.
I do see when I was doing when I was doing the new moon cycles, I did see at the end of the year, when I said around November, there's going to be a new moon in Sagittarius, and that's in your 7th house, and it's going to hit your Saturn. So perhaps there is some stability there. You will meet, I think you're going to meet someone who's looking for the same stability as you are towards
you
the
said when
end
now?
of the year. Like around November, December, January. I know, right? I'm gonna write it down for you. Well, like you can make it. You can set a reminder in your phone. Oh,
I'm going to call you that day.
But
yeah.
But Saturn is particularly significant for you because your Venus is in Capricorn, which is the ruler. So-
Saturn's ruler.
Saturn's ruler. So when you have a new moon on your Saturn in everyone's life is about making commitment and kind of developing in spite of the fact that that's maybe your weak point. We all have it somewhere, and we
Right.
have to work hard
Right.
to develop Saturn. That's on the mundane and reality level, which is important. But there's another level that Saturn, like, why do we have our struggles that are our struggles? Why? Saturn is really the messenger, Saturn is the one that creates the scenario in our chart that enables us to seek who we really are and what are we really capable of, and also what are we willing to do to get what we want. So in that sense, and if it's boys, does she have Saturn in the 7th? Yeah. So if it is a relationship, if you came to me 10 years ago and said, oh, I want to get married, I was like, please don't get married till your Saturn returns.
That's what I was going to say. Anytime you have Saturn in the 7th house, it means you have to wait till your Saturn return, right?
You don't have to, but a lot of
better
people that do wind up having more than one marriage because
Right.
they just don't know enough
Right.
about what you're just at that point now where you're ready to be open and receptive. Okay, I'm willing to interview. I'm willing to date. I'm willing to, look at his financial vision and my financial vision, see
Right.
if we match. And then, like, now is the time when you can really
Start
first
looking?
have what you want. The only thing I would suggest to you because of your Neptune Venus is envision it literally, easily, wonderfully manifesting. Just envision it every day. Play your song. I don't know what your song is.
We'll figure it out.
What's your song?
Not I Will Survive. No, a different kind of song. Some song that you feel like, this is my love song for me. This is the song that says I'm going to have what I want in life
Right.
because I'm a powerful goddess.
You
Regardless
are.
of whether
We are.
whether it's obvious or
no,
not.
we are.
It's the truth. And that's, for you, Saturn, on new moon on the Saturn, is a very beautiful time for you to begin.
And this is when you said
The
in
interview
the
process.
Around November, December. So I would definitely,
Yeah.
look towards that and manifest it. Think about it, just like Joni says, and you will.
I think that's a
manifest it.
good thing to look forward to.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can't do it too soon.
Right.
And don't rush because when people rush, it takes longer sometimes.
Yeah.
It's true.
Don't push yourself. Trust that, Venus is about magnetism. Just like Mercury is about electromagnetic energy, nervous system. Venus is about the heart and what it pulls towards it. So really illuminate your own magnet inside you. That's all you have to do. And then go do your life the best you possibly can without being afraid you'll be alone.
Do you like poetry? Do you like to write?
I do.
So I would write too. Manifest it in words as well. Write whatever comes to you, write beautiful things, loving things. Mercury's in the 10th, but is it in what sign is her Mercury in? Pisces?
Pisces.
Pisces, yeah, right, my dear. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think, it's not unlikely that you'll meet somebody who has a very big job. And when you work in law firms, there's tons of them there,
Yeah.
right? And they're clients, and you never know. But
Yeah.
I think finding the person through a career experience would make sense for your chart. It doesn't have to be, but it makes sense that it could happen there.
Right.
So you don't have to run looking.
It'll come to you.
Right, and also I just wanted to ask you this. Do you mind if I, with your Mars and Aries, do you feel like when you meet someone you like that you hit on them? Do you?
My best friend has it, but she has Mars and Venus conjunct in Aries. And it's a tough one because it's very hot and cold for her. So a lot of times guys ghost her.
Well,
which
I think
means they
guys get
disappear.
intimidated by that.
I've had that
Yeah,
a couple of times. Not,
but that's the
it's
Venus and
not-
Mars. But in Aries, it could be it could be aggressive. But you like strong men.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it has a lot
you
to
don't
do
hit
with our
deep-
personality
yeah.
and because we're so strong-willed and
You are. Yeah.
I don't have an issue, telling somebody how I feel or, doing things in general for anybody. So I think that kind of throws them off a little bit.
Well, you enjoy being fearless.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what you enjoy.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's easier for men. We always have to give them a signal. okay, I'm open and receptive. But when
Right.
you have Mars in Aries, you're like, hey, you're taking
Hurry
too
up.
long.
Hurry
Yeah,
up.
that's exactly.
Sit here.
Yeah.
I want to know all about you.
Hurry up. Why what's taking
Yeah.
so long? Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Okay.
But you have to be a little bit careful not to project your Mars on the guy, because you'll wind up meeting guys that are selfish.
I think that I've learned that through the process and the recent process, nonetheless, to
Yeah.
kind of back off and just let it happen.
Well, also just own the fact that you're not here to sit around and be a couch potato. You want to do things.
Yeah.
So you can be honest about that. But I think friendship first
Yes.
is
That,
also
that's
in your
something that
chart.
I've
Saturn,
learned
Mars
as well.
on the 11th.
Yeah.
You really want to. You really
Jupiter,
want
too.
someone. You really feel like you can just. It's not always about male and female.
Yeah.
It's about
Yeah.
having a
Friendship.
lot of fun
Yeah.
together. This is very important to you. So you have two very different kinds of energies in your Mars and your Venus. So sometimes we have to be a la carte. I mean, I know this is just my opinion.
A la carte.
You know, a la carte about, sometimes you just hang out with your friends, guy
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
But then you pick the one that understands. You're a deeply spiritual, romantic person, but not in the usual way. Flowers, that's it. No, you want.
Yeah.
You
want a
make
poem. You want them to
plan
write
for
a song
next
about
year.
you.
We're gonna go to the.
Yeah.
We're gonna go on a trip. You want to
Yeah.
be able to plan. For
Yes. That. Yeah. You hit it right on the head.
This is a world of many, many challenges and opportunities, and one person can't be everything to us. But
Yeah.
that's why I say, looking at the angles, we want to look for how much of a forgiveness do we have between us? How much can we let it go after we do have our exciting dialogue out loud?
Yeah.
Then can we forgive?
I mean,
each other?
I can do the go and go and go and probably get hurt and hurt and hurt, and then there comes a point where I'm just done and I'm just done.
Mhm.
There's no in between of it. It's when I'm done.
You're done.
I'm done.
Exactly. That's the way to be.
Should be.
I mean, I can I can be friends, depending on the person, but I really can. I've grown into that maturity as I gotten older, because I guess I have Venus in Aquarius. But I mean, it's hard sometimes because of my Mars in Scorpio, but I can be friends with people that relationship that doesn't work out.
But
in a
how
cordial-
about them? Can they always be your friend?
Sometimes yes.
Sometimes
I
yes,
actually have
good.
had a few that would be my friend, and it was fine.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's
Do you
hard.
still keep in contact?
Not really. Maybe one other person.
I think
maybe one person.
for a little bit it kind of goes on and then it just dies down.
I don't know. But it's very I don't know. It's just somebody, people that back in the day, and you can talk and say, hey, how are things with you? And that's great that you're growing as a
Yeah.
person, and here's how I'm growing as a person, and you can relate.
Definitely.
I have people like that in my life as well, so I
Yeah,
know know
yeah.
what you're talking about. I know what you're speaking of. So
Yeah, it's awesome. Aquarius power.
Have you heard of something called the part of fortune?
Yes.
Yes. So, legend goes that when you are really true to your own self, in terms of really letting your moon be your feelings and your sun being your individuation, your identity, then you have this fortune in that one area. So I'm
Really?
going to look for yours.
Oh, mine's in the 7th house.
Oh, I don't think I put the
I'll
part
put
of
mine.
fortune.
Yeah,
I
put
didn't
mine.
put
Oh
it
my
on.
gosh, mine's in the 7th. I think.
Yours is in the 7th.
Yeah,
in
that's
relationships.
too
That's
funny.
very interesting.
That's too funny.
let's see what mine's in.
Okay.
I don't know if I put it in this chart. That's why I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to get back to you on that one. then.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Yeah, but I think what I was going to say to you, now that you're just having, she had her Saturn turn. Is it still happening?
I think you just finished it because it's going to retrograde to 22 degrees. I know people have no idea what I'm talking about, but it's going to go back to 22. Hers is 18 degrees, so it's not going to go
No,
further than
yeah,
22. So you're finished with it.
finished.
But I think once Saturn goes direct, I think you're just going to
Right.
everything's going to happen for you. You're just going to keep moving forward.
Yeah. So if you think about having Saturn in the 7th house, means you really want to make a real commitment to someone, and you really want it to be a long-term relationship, and you really want to be serious about marriage. So, and since you do like these kind of fast boys that,
I
that
love how she puts it.
that get it going and they're out of there, you have to just make sure that if you are committing to someone, that they have that, that's why I asked you before, do you like older, established
She
men?
probably does. Saturn in the 7th means you like older men. Generally,
Sometimes.
I mean,
sometimes.
not like significantly
No, but-
older. I
but
can't. I wouldn't. But
established,
the couple of years. I mean, it's funny because
Not
I was
someone
just talking to
younger.
my mother about that, and I was like,
But I think
I
success.
don't know if I can go more than 5 than me. But I mean, you never know.
It really isn't so much about the age. It's much more about their ambition level. Do they
Oh,
really
yeah.
have? Do they really have a concept who they are in the world?
Oh yeah.
You don't want to be. I don't see you being with the guy that just like cooks you dinner and that's really nice and
Oh,
he stays
God.
home.
No, I
So-
don't think.
Sometimes
I don't think I can handle
you
that
can
one.
find
No,
that in
no,
horoscopes
no.
where I would say, "Does he make you dinner?" Yes, he does. How did
No.
you know? Yeah.
I think it's got to be somebody to match the ambition
Yes.
and
Yes.
match the hustle, as they say it in New York. So it's
right, and
it's
maybe this
not-
kind of guy will like the newly mature person you're becoming because you
Correct,
had your.
yeah.
So maybe this is the time where you will be more noticed as well. So if you can do your little love song with meditation, envisioning.
She told me I need to meditate
Beatles.
a little bit.
Well, meditation can be taking a walk on the beach. Meditation
No,
can
of
be
course,
doing.
yeah. I love beach at night, so
That's meditation right there.
I think we should do that afterwards
I really would love to do that.
with my song. Denise is
After
gonna
the
walk with me
Saturday.
hand in hand on the beach
Yeah.
with my
Yeah.
song.
Cool. And you were saying, so can you pull up her part of fortune? Or
I don't know if I can do it right now because I have to go into the program. and
it's all right. No
we're
worries.
already on a show.
Yeah. So
and
we don't
it's
have to
dark
do it.
but
So-
you can call me and we can have a little. We can put it on the side if anybody's interested.
Oh, I like that.
But
we're
out
gonna
there,
do it.
whoever's listening,
Oh, yeah.
find out where your part of fortune is. In fact, find out what's in your horoscope. It's not just about sun signs, as we know, right?
As
And it-
oddly enough as that sounds, I read it all the time.
Wait, I have a question. I always read my ascendant. I never read my sun sign. It's so much more accurate because the planets are moving correctly through those houses. So I advise people try to read your ascendant, unless it's like 1 degree Pisces. But I try to tell people if it's like right in the middle, your ascendant of that sign. Like my Sagittarius is it's 13 degrees Sagittarius. My ascendant. I always read the horoscope for actually Capricorn because it's towards the end maybe. But I always tell people to try to read their horoscope for their ascendant. It's a little bit better than their sun sign. Did anyone ask any questions on Facebook?
I don't have anybody who asks
okay.
questions, but if anybody does have any questions, feel free to write to us.
Well,
Yeah.
Julia,
Yeah.
how old were you when you met your husband?
I was 22.
22. So much younger than her Saturn return. So can we look at Julia
Oh,
for
yeah,
a second?
let's look at Julia.
Sure.
Oh yeah, you're the baby
Is
of
she
the
here?
group today.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I want to be. I want to be in my 20s.
I want to be in my 20s too.
Just wait. Life begins at 60. Okay. All right.
Oh, you're not even close to
But
it.
you had
stop.
such a fun life. I want to be a singer.
I know, right? She was serenading us before.
Yeah, you
I think being a singer than being an astrologer, I've been very blessed. Just
Yeah.
really passionate about what I do.
it shows.
It's nice. Yeah, it's really nice. And I recommend it. So I'm looking at Julia's chart and look at her seventh house.
Oh, the moon's
The
there.
romantic moon in Pisces in the house of marriage.
Wow.
And this is why you got married
Right.
so young.
Yeah.
And yeah, and
26 isn't that young, is it?
no, but you
not.
Nowadays,
For us
it
it is.
is.
for us.
what I was very struck with your story is how you really knew right away, and it's been just a very beautiful, wonderful, nurturing relationship.
And how did you know?
Well, I don't know how to explain it.
Did
we
you
just
feel something?
Do you have their
absolutely we
chemistry?
just really clicked. I think we had great communication. We really understood each other, and we've actually been long distance for 2.5 years
Wow.
now while I've been in Florida. But
But they date on the
stretch.
computer.
yes,
Oh.
we do
do you have
little
date
Skype
nights?
dates.
Oh.
cute.
100%. We'll like Netflix movies together.
Oh
so we
my
can
God,
talk
that's
about
so
it while we
cute.
watch.
Isn't that cute? And also, he does cook for you, and you really do feel like very
He
excited
takes care of
about
me. He
it.
spoils me so much.
Ah, see that? And her moon is in the house of relationships. So that was a very easy one. But also, I think before that, before you met Roman,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes dating felt like an awful job.
Tell me
You
about
didn't
it.
love it, right?
I felt
You
like
had Saturn in the house of romantic dating
I was one
for
of
the
those
purpose.
people that
Oh.
like tried to make bad relationships work because I didn't want to go through the process of like getting to know someone all over again. There's that
Yeah.
like fake period in the
Can you relate to
beginning.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Absolutely.
I think
No.
Aquarius is just along the
You're
line
like-
of
You're so
making things
accepting.
work when
Yeah.
when it's just going to
Oh, you've got
Uh,
problems? That's okay. You
we can work it
You got
out.
mental
Make it
issues?
work.
Oh,
Gosh.
And then you also kind of hide your own problems. You're like, let me put on like the best version of myself, even if
and
it's,
it's
not
fake.
real.
But it's fake.
yeah.
And the
It
person,
really is.
It's horrible because the
It
other person
really is.
they're gonna think that's who you are. Then one day when you're really upset, when you're really depressed, the other person does not know what to do.
yeah,
Big-
it's like
yeah.
where did this person
Yeah.
So
come from?
don't you feel sorry for all these guys that meet astrologers?
Yeah.
Because you know they're
Because they know that they're
better than they
sitting
know
there
you.
being judged.
But you know, I want to say something else about this because you have lots of planets in the fifth house, which is in the natural zodiac, that would be Leo, and you are Leo rising. And I wanted to say this to the three of you because Aquarians are amazing people. They don't really know that usually.
We are.
But if you interview them and say, well, who was the best worker on that team? I guess I was. And who was the best student in that class? Oh, maybe I was. And you know, you wanted to learn that. Did you get that degree? Yeah, I got that degree and 2 other degrees. Well, you know, you can kind of prove it to them that they are amazing. But the conclusion an Aquarian will make is, well, if I'm amazing, so's everyone. So there's no point to trying to be that
Yeah.
special. but when
All
it
right.
but when it comes to
Okay.
I could be terrible now.
and nobody likes what I just said.
No, it's funny.
No, but you know
funny.
what?
True, though,
It's
it
so
is.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why you have to, if you really have an ambition and you want to do something especially that's really challenging, you have to remind yourself, it's not about my ego. This is my contribution to humanity, and I'm going to be a human being in her best form.
Yeah.
And that's it, because the ego is meant to just support us, not the other way around.
That's right.
Like this fake dating, da-da-da. I think it's whatever.
Fake
I
da-
don't
like-
I don't
I
think
love
it's fake
the
dating,
way
but I
she
would
puts
say
it, this
Julia-
fake dating.
Julia found dating work.
yeah.
The kind of work she didn't feel she was good at. Yeah, so I could see that. I could see that. But
I personally think I'm horrible dating. I hate.
Yeah, but you can't think
I
that.
hate having to start this process all over again.
You can't think that is a you.
I'm just saying.
You listen, whatever you project,
I
you
know.
attract. Okay,
I'm
so
just
you're gonna meet people who are
saying.
terrible at dating too.
it.
And then you're
that's right.
Which kind of explains the
Yeah,
streak
just
I've
tell
been
them,
having.
I need a lot of practice, you tell them. I'm not good at this, but you don't want to practice with me? No, I'm kidding. But I think being Gemini rising, you can always find out about someone. You don't
Yeah.
have to be what they want you to be. Yes, this is a date. It won't be a date again, but
right.
we'll have a nice conversation. It's really good to meet you. And that's it. I mean, I think that if you are serious about relationships like you are,
Ooh, that's a good comment.
I
Yeah.
have one person you can read.
Ooh,
Who's
let me
this?
go look. Oh, I just
Uh-uh.
had, I just
Is this
had
a-
I- no.
comments on my Instagram actually.
Okay.
how could you see that? That's amazing.
Okay. All right. So what about what about cusp signs?
Okay.
Cusp signs, like I'm in Aries but closer to Pisces. Well, that depends. You'd have to pull up the chart and see, again, what Jody was saying is she has to see what other houses and what other signs the other planets are in. So,
They're at the end of the main difference when you have you're within a couple of degrees of the next sign. I think people that have that are really kind of anticipating being the next sign. It's sort of, that's really the cuspy person.
yeah.
To me, once you start the new sign, oh, what?
Yeah.
But I think that the main difference really is the ruler. So if you're an Aries, you have to look at Mars in your chart to really.
Is it the ascendant ruler or the ruler of your? I mean, it's the ascendant, isn't it?
Well, the ascendant is the ultimate chart ruler in terms of activity, because the ascendant is part of the cardinal axis or the axis of activity. But I think also your sun sign is very important in terms of your story.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, you have to look at both.
Yeah.
And the moon sign too. To me, the moon sign is almost everything.
Yeah.
So I really, your show is
Moonlight astrology.
And-
Yes.
and my moon messages I've been writing for 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
and also my radio show is Under the Moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the moon.
So
But
fun.
I
but
do
the
too.
moon rules the people,
Mhm.
all of us.
Yeah.
So yeah, and of course, if you don't know your exact time of birth, you might not always know what your
the moon sign is
is.
because it can move. So
Right.
Annie's mom wants to know something.
Annie's mom's on the phone.
Yeah.
No, what is that?
Yeah,
She specifically mentioned not to say that she's my mother, but obviously when I give the last name, it's not going to make a difference anyway.
Is that okay? Can we
Are we
move
putting
forward?
it
Yes,
in the chart?
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
let's do it.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
let me. Can I put my mic down?
Of
so-
course, take your time. So again, if anybody has any questions, I know her mom is participating.
I know, if anybody has, like Denise said, if you would like your chart read, I'm actually viewing all our Facebook comments, so please go ahead and comment us.
And I know Jade is on Instagram and she wants hers too. So we'll try to get to you too. And I have another friend, Ivana, too, that wanted her. She's out in Australia. So we're going to try here to get to everybody. So I know it's a little tough now, but we'll try.
March 6th.
Yes.
Okay, we don't know the time.
No.
So if you don't know the
It's a
If
little
you don't know the time, we just put noon because that's a solar chart. It's more how people see you than
right.
necessarily how you.
That's true.
And then where was your mom born?
Do you need a city?
Yeah, if you have it.
I have YER EVAN.
VAN?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And where is that?
Armenia.
Really?
Yes.
Exotic.
Very exotic.
I like that. Okay, got it. So what is her question? Is it about love?
I think just in general.
Oh my goodness, she has a grand
Wow.
square.
That is that is an
No wonder.
interesting. That is a
Seen that
very
before.
interesting.
You never seen a Grand Cross before? Grand Cross,
Wow.
I think, right? Or is it? Well, with the south
Well,
node, so no.
Venus to the node, yeah.
Yeah.
No, see, these little configurations are deceptive. But she does have the square between Neptune and Venus.
Oh, just
And you
like
have
you.
the conjunction.
conjunction.
That's
yeah.
why
And
we're in so many ways we're so
A
similar,
lot
but
of
yet
times,
so
a
different.
lot of times, family, especially mother-daughter, we are. Oh, look at that! Here's the chart. A lot of times we are inversions of each other's challenges, and that's why it's hard sometimes to be around your family. And also,
Oh, she has
Very
Saturn
good.
in the seventh. Well, we don't know that actually because we
Right.
don't know the houses.
this is
we
such-
don't know her timing
yeah, never
of her
mind.
birth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This, when you put the sun at the top of the chart,
Mhm.
it's a legitimate chart. If you guess, you're probably going to get confused by your reading. So if you don't know, put the sun at the top. I think no matter what time of day your mother was born, she's the moon in Virgo. So she's a little careful.
A little too
measures.
careful.
She measures in her recipes.
Yes.
Yeah, she likes to do things correctly.
Yes.
And maybe gives herself a little hard time. Because the reason I'm saying that is because her moon is square Saturn. So I don't think your mother had it easy. Her life wasn't easy.
No, they, I'm first generation here, so they came, from a different
Yeah,
country trying to
wow.
build,
I know.
and it's not obviously it's not easy when you're having the entire family work.
Yeah, put this in front. So you can
Yeah.
I think
When you're not when you have the entire family work just to keep, a house or
yeah. Yeah.
and things like
But
that.
what
so it's
happens
not
when you
easy.
don't have an easy life? You learn a lot. Like your mother really, from
Yeah.
whatever experiences she had, she really understands things maybe other people really don't know. And that's true, right?
That's pretty on point.
But was the question about love life? Was it not?
No, just in general, I guess.
Oh, okay. Well, why don't we look at Mom's Venus? Just for the heck of
Yeah,
it, right?
yeah.
Okay.
just like-
Because we're talking about.
Yes.
I mean, Mars and Venus have to do with attraction, but Venus has to do with what makes us feel loved. And
Right.
honestly, we need to consider that.
Mhm.
Do we feel loved in any situation? Like Julia.
Right? I'm kind of jealous for you sitting right next to me. I'm not even.
So your mom has Venus in Aquarius.
Oh,
So
yeah.
she-
Which that makes so much sense now.
She's not
hear
so.
that?
She's not necessarily gushy romantic.
Oh, not at all.
No, she wants to be with a guy that she can have a really good conversation with, who respects her mind.
Yeah.
And respects that she has like a logic.
Yeah.
And that she's not
Yeah.
girly. She doesn't want to be. She might be very girly, but she does not like that.
No.
She doesn't like. Oh, they said I was girly. Well,
Oh God,
what do they
I
know?
Yeah, work.
Well, let me show
especially.
you.
Oh, I love having a pretty coworker. I'm like, thanks,
Right.
but
It's a minor. It's not my major. It's my minor. Yeah. Yeah. But I think that's the other thing about Venus and Aquarius is she's very selective.
Yes.
She's not going to just be with someone to be with someone. She wants to be with someone she can be friends with.
Yeah.
And then let's look at her Mars and Capricorn. Like, you're the one that had Mars and Capricorn.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, your mother.
Right?
Your,
We're so similar. It's ridiculous.
you and your mom.
Oh my
Do you look like
goodness.
her too?
I look exactly like her.
Oh my God.
So I had
So
been
she's
back home
gorgeous.
in like 20 years, and wherever I walked, they knew I was her daughter because I looked exactly like her.
I love it.
Also, your mother gets hunches about things, doesn't she? She gets a hunch.
It's so scary that she does, but yeah,
Yeah.
she does. It's
She's
very
got a very
her
organic
intuition.
intuition.
Yes.
Yes.
Why? Because of Neptune and the North.
Because of
Node too, and
Mercury.
and the Moon.
Pretty tight.
I mean, and the
Mercury
sun?
Sun
Yeah.
conjunction in Pisces.
Pisces. Oh, that's
Yeah,
that
it's
makes
very
sense.
Pisces.
Yeah.
That
And I
gives
see that too here because the North Node and Neptune. I would say spirituality is very, very important to her.
Oh.
Dreams, things like that.
the thing is, when your mother was born during a full moon.
Oh, so was I.
It was right after the full moon, actually.
Yes, me too.
And here's another
That's
little
so interesting.
Here's another little, in Playboy they tell you, oh, I like this. Here's another little tidbit for your file that your mother also was born with the moon void. So,
Wow.
yeah, so that's an interesting thing for both of you because her mother,
That's another
Also-
similarity we have.
yeah, you both are not able to plan everything. Sometimes you just need to take a break. You can't stay engaged like forever with people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You need to listen. It's not a drum, it's like a flute or a violin. It's some
Funny you
kind
say
of
that she used to play
distant.
violin.
She played violin? Yeah, I bet she's very musical. Does she have a really good sense of smell?
I think.
Is she sensitive to smell?
No, I am more than she is.
But she also,
But she does have. Yes, she does.
and she might also see color really well. Does she like, is she more
Do you
of
see
a-
color really well?
Is she on phone? I could say hi.
Are you not
She's on
colorful?
Facebook Live, so you can wave to her.
Hi,
Great to
Annie's
meet you. You have
mama.
such a wonderful daughter. Do you have a good sense of colors? Do you feel like your design, decorating, Pisces is a sign of glamour, and it comes in many forms.
Oh boy, don't
Photography as well.
I'm glad
Sometimes
I
you can
can
be a
see
very
that.
good photographer.
I've seen a lot of Scorpios be very good at photography too.
Really?
Yeah. You know why?
Yes, she
Yeah.
says yes.
Good. Very good. So did she agree with what I said about her Venus. Is she ready to find true love?
I don't know if she's ready, but I'm sure ready for her to find it.
Well, when you have Saturn in the seventh, well, we don't know if she had Saturn in the seventh house, but your daughter does. I think,
With all the
sometimes-
similarities,
No,
I wouldn't be
sometimes-
surprised if it's also in the 7th house.
We didn't talk about this because it's not that show about outer planets.
Oh yeah.
But when you have a lot of outer planets, it really takes you
Yeah.
many years to kind of get used to your own energy. But even with Saturn and Jupiter, which have to do with your society, your culture, especially Saturn, you really need to have a certain amount of maturity in order to have the relationship where you're going to get respected.
Right.
So you need that. You don't want anybody patronizing you and bossing you around, dominating you. And Virgos can go either way.
Well, she was married to a Leo.
Okay.
Yeah.
That kept
Yeah.
that kept her busy.
The
I love
least to
Leos.
say.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
Leos.
Really.
Yes, I do.
Males, I'm not so sure about. Females, like my aunt is a Leo, my niece is a Leo.
Females, I
and
like female Leos.
Me
Male
too.
Leos,
Uh,
I apologize, but I just don't get along with you.
I don't either. So
Male Leos, I don't get
Really?
along with them.
Well,
At all.
They oppose me. They're
Yes.
opposite. They're our opposite
100%
sign.
agree.
well, also the problem with if there's going to be a challenge with Leos, this is my thing that I feel. They don't really want to acknowledge that they're having a problem. So here you
Yes.
have, and you're such a deeply intuitive. Like you can look way under the baloney,
Yeah.
and see, your lie meter, and it's not really lying, but they just don't want to have to be sharing that something's not right about them.
Yeah.
So that can be annoying
I
for
can't
someone like
stand
you.
it.
Does it show her anxiety level on this chart?
The Virgo and the Moon.
Yeah, I didn't
maybe.
want to say
No,
because-
but no.
Virgo
but I
Moon.
think that whatever you can do, what's your mom say?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, whatever you can do to just get some help with your nervous system, whether it's deep breathing, acupuncture, getting a massage, this should be regular nutrition for you because it's just going to help keeping the energy moving, because you can get anxiety when you have a traffic jam
Yeah.
in your nervous system, and that can happen to Virgos. It can happen to any mutable sign, but especially Virgos because they're so sincere. They try so hard, and they,
Even with her being a Pisces.
oh, she's Pisces, but she
Yes.
has the
Moon
moon
in
in Virgo.
Yeah, in Virgo.
But
yeah.
Pisces also have the same challenge, that they're just so affected, like
And
sponges.
is your mom lactose intolerant?
No.
No. Okay. I was just
She loves
wondering. She does. Okay. So her stomach
I
doesn't
mean,
hurt.
with her coffee.
But her stomach doesn't hurt or anything from
I
it.
don't
No,
think so.
okay. Because I was told that when the moon opposes, when you're born on a full moon, sometimes that can happen.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't heard that.
I had somebody tell me that.
but I think when
I
you're born
am,
on
I
the,
think.
you're lactose intolerant.
I am. Yeah.
Semi. It's weird.
not a
I can
great
have it in
food
my
for
coffee,
adult
but I
people.
can't have it just plain.
Yeah. So I think we have time for one more.
Yes.
And then I think-
your Instagram.
Yeah,
was
we're gonna do
going off.
Jade.
Yes.
And then I know Ivana, you wanted yours done too, my friend, and we're gonna try. Otherwise, I can do it myself. So, my friend Jade, she just moved to Austin, Texas.
Oh, what a great city!
I know. She just moved from
Good
New York.
luck in your new life.
Yeah.
What's her birthday?
Hers is September 4th,
Oh, another Virgo.
1988.
Not that your mom is a Virgo.
She has a real Grand Cross in her chart.
Okay, do you know what time?
Yes, 9:50 p.m. And then she was born in Brooklyn, New York.
We're all from New York except Julia.
I know. Are you
Okay.
originally from here?
I love New
No, I'm
York.
Canadian.
Oh.
Oh, what part of Canada?
I was born in Edmonton. I went to school in Montreal, and then I lived for a while in Vancouver.
Cool, the West Coast. Oh my God,
Hey.
that's awesome. I would love to visit there one day.
I have cousins
I love
there.
Montreal, and Vancouver's my dream city.
It's beautiful there.
Yeah. Okay, so I didn't put her name. What is her name again?
Jade.
Jade. What a great name.
It is
too.
beautiful.
Okay, so let me see if I can get this a little bigger.
Yeah, she was born on a grand square, I think.
It's like my mother.
A grand cross. No, no, but hers had the node in it. But I know
Yeah.
Jade is born literally with like an actual grand cross.
Wait, I'm putting this down.
got it. I'll hold it.
I'm so used to having my little outside mouse. Okay,
I have a little one, Joni. Do you want one? It's in my purse.
Too late.
I just realized it was there.
There it is.
Technical abilities. Okay, so
Mm-hmm. See, Mars in 12th house, just like, man, I got that too.
Mars, Neptune, Moon, Chiron, and Mercury.
She wants to know about our love life.
Boy, don't we all.
You know, I think before you want to know about Jade's love life.
Yeah.
Jade also has
the background. Too.
Jade also has Mars in Aries.
Yeah. But
So
12th house, though.
and retrograde.
Retrograde, yeah.
So that 12th house and retrograde. Oh boy.
Yeah.
So let's look at Venus. Okay, so you also have very strong lunar energy with Venus in Cancer. So, you know, I think Jade's taste might be like really exciting guys, but her sensibilities, they don't pass her test either.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
That does happen because you're very intuitive.
And what month is she born in?
And the
Virgo.
Okay.
September.
thing about having Venus in Cancer, just like Aquarians want to be known for how many great books they read,
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
Cancer loves to be needed.
Yeah.
They just love when someone just, "Oh, I couldn't be without you. You're just, everything."
Aw.
So she really likes that, and her Mars is in Aries, so there's something to work out here.
Mhm.
You can't. Again, I love that a la carte menu
Mhm.
because you can't expect the guy in your life to be everything. Sometimes it's going to be great, and sometimes you have to go hang with the girls to really get your,
Yeah.
your love filled.
Yeah.
But you can have a lot of fun with the guy. But I think,
Just like, from here.
she also has, Pluto coming up to the
yeah.
7th house cusp. So relationships are challenging, but I think that they are the catalyst for so much of your growth, for so much of your learning about yourself, that if you can just kind of determine to take responsibility to how you're reacting to whatever's going on and what you're going to output, because this is what you've determined to be. And, having Mars in Aries, you can be very spontaneous, but this Pluto on the descendant tells me relationships are part of your evolutionary path. So even if they are, quote unquote, the wrong guy, which it could be, a lot of wrong guys.
I'm not sure. Let me see what she said. Hold on.
Did you say you're having a lot of...
She said, so true.
So
Yeah.
true. Okay. Yeah, because you're not going to go for someone who doesn't really have substance. But sometimes the substance is like a lot of compulsive nature. And how are you going to deal with that? This is their work. So I think that give yourself time to find the right guy. Don't rush. Don't rush. Have experiences. Learn a lot. Give people respect, even if they don't respect themselves.
Yeah.
And find the man that is exciting enough for you and also can appreciate your beautiful, loving nature.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because she has that.
Yeah, she is a very loving girl. I love you, Jade. Can't wait to talk more. But yeah, she really is.
Also, I just wanted to say something about her moon because she has Chiron
That's
conjunct the
it.
moon in the second house. You have so much to offer. Like, you make people feel like gold. That's what she does. Patience might be an issue for you, so you also have to be with, somebody that can handle, spit it out, that kind of thing, But I would say don't rush. Love yourself. Love the person in front of you, and determine when you're ready, you're going to be with this complicated, very fascinating, powerful person that is not going to project himself on you because it's not the deal.
Yeah, and that happens a lot.
Yeah.
I've had relationships where I've got projected on so
yeah,
many
it's
times.
your fault. It's
Yeah,
your fault.
because
No,
we
it's
allow
not your
it.
fault.
Yeah, we, and but
We
you don't
allow it
but you don't
all the
realize it. I
time.
didn't realize it, and I'm sitting like, what?
It's usually realizing it when it's done.
Yeah.
And then you sit and you reflect
When you sit
on
there
it
and you
yourself.
grow.
Yeah.
Oh, Instagram ended, but thank you for that. That she's gonna definitely
Good.
She really
Oh,
appreciates.
she's
it.
interesting.
Yeah,
She's,
I love her grandpa.
maybe invite her to the pendulum party.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
she's in
maybe.
Austin, but I'll tell her to come here.
Austin. She doesn't need to come here.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's very
Yeah,
No.
she's very spiritual.
We should go
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. She
Let's
go to
make a
Austin.
trip.
Yeah, she's
You
very
should
very
take
spiritual.
Moonlight Astrology on the road.
I want to.
I really think that's a great idea, except you have to have a crew.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
gonna
we
have
have
a
to
big
bring
bus.
those guys.
I'm gonna have a bus.
The guy on the wheels and
A limo.
The guy on the wheels, she said.
I'll get a limo. We just go around. Absolutely. And there was another girl I think that she wanted to have hers done, but you know what? I'm gonna just do it myself because it was a synastry chart, and I know that we were gonna do Blake and Gwen Stefani. Remember that?
Do you still wanna
real
do
quick.
that?
Post
Yeah, we
that.
can do it real
Let's do
quick. We
it.
can do that, and we'll try that.
you're so thorough. I'm
She
like, well, we don't have time for that today.
really is.
Oh,
Yeah.
me? I
She
just-
reminds me.
She decided.
She reminds herself of me a lot.
Oh,
So what are
great.
we're looking at?
So Gwen Stefani. Okay, so the background with Gwen Stefani is because my friend Teresa my friend Teresa loves her story because she wrote an album called The Return of Saturn. She literally, when she's
Wow.
28, 29, her album, she wrote it and it was published and she wrote that and it was talking about marriage, how she wants to be in a marriage and be settled down, but then she wants her freedom at the same time. So that's literally like everyone's Saturn return.
I think everybody wants that at some point
But
or
she wrote an
another.
album. The album's title, The Return of Saturn. It's so cool. So around that time, I think after her Saturn return,
Whoa, look at that.
her and Gavin got married. And then they broke up after 13 years. I mean, this is my saying is that if a relationship ends during your Saturn return, that relationship was meant to happen and you're meant to grow from it, but it's over. Like you need to it's time to evolve, like to go beyond that, you know? And I was in a relationship during that time, and when we broke up, I've never had that feeling where when it ended, I mean, it ended. And I feel like I have no need to ever talk to this person ever again. There's no loose ends. It just I knew that relationship was meant to be.
Yeah.
So just like how her and Gavin were, I think. So she did get married to him, and then they got divorced. And then she met Blake. But I think that her and Blake had better synastry. I think her and Blake, I think they get. I mean, he's a Gemini, she's a Libra. He has a
I
lot-
love them together.
me too. He has a lot of planets in Gemini, and she's a Libra. They're both air. Libra's cardinal, Gemini is mutable, so he's changeable. He can change, and she loves to start things and she's just.
Well, they have their moons opposite each other. You're talking about.
but we don't know his time. But
Well,
guess.
this is 14 degrees, so
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah,
moon
so
doesn't
we-
move more than 12 degrees a day.
Yeah.
So she's the moon in Cancer, he's the moon in Capricorn, and that's the parental axis. And they did have those kids together.
Oh, this is Gavin.
This is
Yes.
Gavin.
Yeah.
You wanted to,
Oh no, because we didn't know
I
the
was in a
information for
relationship
Blake.
with somebody where I had the opposing moons.
how was that?
Terrible.
Uh-huh.
Because you just didn't understand each other at all. Like
And obviously, we don't
Can
know
be a
what
little
happened with them
competitive.
personally for 13 years.
I don't know. It was just because my moon conjuncted, I think his moon and my sun were together, so I helped him emotionally. But my moon made no aspects to any of his
Yeah.
planets, so it was no emotional.
That's really a lonely feeling.
Oh, God, tell
Let
me.
me, oh goodness, what's going on?
Yeah, it was
This
rough.
little man.
But yeah, Gwen Stefani and Gavin, so opposing moons. Like
So let's look at Blake and Gwen, because
Yeah.
that's,
I want to look
that-
at that.
they're both
But
so
you can just see
adorable.
that two opposing moons on the opposite end of the spectrum, opposite signs. There's no there's no understanding
Yeah.
emotionally. So if she's upset one day, he's just not going to understand that. He can't
Right.
comfort her.
And I can
You're talking about
most likely
Gavin.
relate to
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Okay.
Gavin, yeah. So let's see what's going on with Blake and Gwen.
So what I do is I put one horoscope around the other, then I swap it. But we don't know Blake's time, so
We don't
these
know
are
that.
not the houses
Right.
necessarily at all. So what we're looking at when we look at Blake's chart around Gwen's is, how does Blake's energy feel to Gwen?
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, Blake is Mars in Leo, and I know that Gwen went way out of her way. I know she likes all kinds of music, but she deliberately is really into country music right now, which is great for Blake because he really needs acknowledgement.
That's true.
You know,
with the
you could
Leo.
see a very not egocentric person, but when they have Mars and Leo, they want to be acknowledged for their work. You say thank you. So, and she is so happy to make other people feel good. Gwen, though, has a different kind of Mars energy. You know, she's Mars in Capricorn. She's going to work. And she's in for the long haul. She's into the commitments. Their Mars are not making aspect, but let's see. Her Venus and his Mars, not necessarily. Where's his Venus? His Venus is in Gemini.
But it trines her sun, probably. No? Could be.
Also, because you don't know the time, right?
But
it's-
degrees, I don't know the degree, but I know their sign because she's a Libra, he's a Gemini. They're both air, so it's a very nice
Okay,
flowing
yeah.
energy.
Well, also his Venus is conjunct his Sun exactly.
Oh,
So
is it 'cause
he's
you
like
believe
a
in
Libra.
combust?
Well, I don't know about Venus being combust.
Oh, I haven't.
I know Mercury, if it's the exact degree, it's a real mental gift. If it's just a degree or two away, then it's combust. But that's not the issue. I think let's look for Uranus. Interesting. It's not just Mars Venus. I mean, they're both so beautiful that the attraction is there. I think she has Moon in Cancer.
Oh, I do too.
It's conjunct his Ceres.
That's an asteroid.
Yes, that's an asteroid. That's a connection. Mothers together. You know,
That's
really.
nice.
Their Mercuries are trining. That's a very nice aspect
That's wonderful.
for really having fun talking and playing. Also, Gwen's energy is just so electric and exciting and loving.
You can
you know.
tell that right away, though.
Yeah,
right by
you-
like
Oh, yeah.
watching
You can
Their
see her
music.
just sing
and
it,
her,
but
like,
Yeah.
she
you-
has Jupiter, Sun, Uranus, and Mercury all in a stellium in Libra. And he's a Libra. He's a big, and his Mercury is in Libra. And he's Gemini, so Mercury is his planet. Like when somebody has the ruler of their sun, it's very important that is not the lonely planet.
Yeah, because you feel
Yeah,
alone.
so she really, where she connects to him
Mhm.
is his Mercury. You know, he gets a kick out of her.
Yeah.
And,
Aw, you can see that with them together, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
They've got some stuff they need to overcome, I think, in terms of what do you want to do? How are we going to do it? You know, I think they have some real differences.
Well, you know, they're both married. Oh, well, previously married. So that might have a lot to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But that's it's interesting. No, I think the fact that she's so loving and he really he's also so loving. He's such a good person in terms of, you know.
You can just
You can
his
tell, you can
heart
tell,
is
yeah.
very big.
with certain people, it's really simple just to tell just by looking at them.
Their warmth, their love.
Yeah.
I don't think being
Their
ambitious is his whole big deal. I mean, anybody that becomes famous like he is, of course, they work hard and they want to
Yeah.
be successful. But he really just really loves what he does.
Yeah.
And I think Gwen, however, has a tremendous potential. to be ambitious and to really create something.
Yeah.
around her. I know she does. Is she designs clothes too, or she?
Does she?
I believe so.
She does,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
she
she's-
does a lot, Gwen.
And just the way she looks, she just
She's got this
creates
unique
beautiful-
look to
Yeah.
herself.
yeah.
I really like that.
Some days I'm like, what is she wearing? And then some
I
days I'm like,
know.
oh my god, I love it.
No, she's awesome. She really is unique.
But Denise, what you were looking at it, but a little more. Do you have something else you were thinking?
Between the two
I
of
need
them?
to look at that a little longer. actually,
I think, yeah,
I'm
no,
not
it's
quite
very,
sure
it's
what
very
this-
interesting. I really think that because he has a lot of Gemini, and she is quite a few Libra. I think a lot of their planets are very good flowing. They're like they flow. It's very electric.
mentally, yes.
Mentally. So, a relationship's not just doing things for the other person. It's not just based on attraction. It's based on communication. And I think that his, I think Mercury being in Gemini, he loves to speak, and then hers being in Libra, I think that they can communicate through a lot of things.
Yes.
Something bothers,
Yes.
they can talk through it.
Yeah, I think
Well, like
in
the-
any relationship, the open communication is
Yes,
key.
but her Venus. Now she's a Libra, so Venus is her planet. So Venus is in the sign of Virgo. So
Makes him a little
she-
critical, though.
well, she
Venus
just really
Virgo.
wants to be taken pretty seriously. You know,
Yeah.
like, what do you mean
Hi,
we're not
this is
going?
me.
Or,
That's why she
You
looks
know-
so good all the time, because
Yeah,
Venus
she's
is
very
a Virgo.
detailed.
She's like very particular about
Right.
everything.
and I think she's
Libra.
going to like that in the man in her life
Yeah.
too.
Take care of himself. Yeah.
Yes.
She had a Scorpio before who's pretty serious about whoever he
Yeah.
is. So, let's see. Let's see.
Yeah. Did anyone else have any questions? I think somebody said something.
No.
Really, nobody has any questions on Facebook?
Nobody in my world.
No.
Not on Facebook, no.
No. Oh, okay. Cool. I thought somebody did. Okay. Somebody on Instagram said that they did on Facebook, but that's okay. I'll get to it, and then if I see it, I'll respond. So I really want to thank everybody for watching.
So
and
much fun.
I'm going to have Joni's information at the bottom of the video. So if anybody wants to contact her for a reading, she makes these gorgeous...
Absolutely do it, because I have to say she read me right before we went live, and everything was on point. So
Yeah, she's
Joni's
an
the real deal.
intuitive. Yeah, she's incredible, and she makes these beautiful pendulums. If anybody works with them, you how long have you been doing that?
I just started making them this year. I've been a pendulum user because I read tarot cards and I use the pendulum. And I can't seem to ever find one in any of the stores I go to. So I was making prayer beads, which also I like to use the beads. And then I had all these extras and I started making the pendulums, and they were like the kind of pendulum I wanted to buy. So
Yeah.
that started me. Now I've made many, many, many. And I have a website, and people can go and get one. Even if you don't use a pendulum for your life, you can use it to have this question to yourself. The way I see it is it's just tapping into your own autonomic reaction, meaning your own nervous system, which won't lie to you. So you can ask questions and have a dialogue about your own choices with yourself. And I give people a little class if they get a pendulum.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so
Wonderful.
if anybody wants to get in touch with me, you can
Yeah.
ask questions.
Yeah, I'm gonna have
on
all her
Facebook
info.
too. So
It's Joni Ross Astrologer.
yeah, that's on Facebook.
That's her name on Facebook. You can find her that way. I'll have all of her information at the bottom. Do you ladies have any closing words?
thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
I don't think after so many years of seeing you and just like kind of
Just feel like the first time I see you after 12 years, like, oh, you want to come on my show? Yeah.
I wouldn't have asked for any better.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank
that
you.
happened the first time you met me too.
Yeah.
And I'm having a great time too. It was so
Yeah.
nice. to
Aquarians
come
are
on.
just so personable sometimes.
I love
Yeah,
Aquarians.
Yeah,
And
I
Juliet,
feel that.
thank you so much. It was so nice to meet you.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure, and I always love learning from you, Joni.
Thank you, Julia.
All right. And thank you all for watching. I will catch you on the next show.